What's up, I'm a Power Addict crew. Today's video, we're testing the alternator. Now, I released a video not too long ago about we're testing the battery, but the battery ain't much good if it doesn't have something to charge it, so we got to test that alternator today. Ready to get on with this? Let's do this. But if this is the first time you guys land on Power Addict's YouTube channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button. So I do these Jeep videos, car videos, motorcycle videos, fabrication. You never know. It just could be something cool, fun, interesting, but yet educational. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a thing. Hit that bell notification so it'll let you know when I release these videos. Cool? Alright, let's get on with this. What we need to do first is set our meter up for the proper setting. We got volt right here, volt right here. See the little squiggly line going up and down? That means alternating current. See the volt right here where it's got the dot 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 under it? Looks like a Morse code dots and a straight line above it? That's DC voltage. We are measuring DC voltage. Cars do DC. So take your meter, click, click, and now I'm setting on DC voltage, as you can see right here on the display. Now this right here is an auto ranging meter, meaning I don't have to set 10 volts, 20 volts, 100 volts, whatever it says. If your meter has settings in the DC range that says 10 volts, 20 volts, whatever its range is, if it's at 20 volts, set it on that. Because at highest, we're going to be reading about 15.5, 15.8 at the extreme highest on a automotive application. Actually, if you're reading 15.8, you're overcharging a bit, but we'll get into that later. So any way you look at it, anything that's going to be the next step above 15 volts is what you can set. Most meters have 20, so set your meter at 20 if it has that. But if you have it auto ranging, simply set it on volts DC and you're ready to rock. Okay, now let's test the voltage of the battery. We'll take our black leads, put it on our ground side of our battery. Red lead goes on the positive side. If I can make it stay. You see we have 12.46 volts, and now let's fire the old girl up and see what the alternator's putting out. Looks like we're looking at 14.37, which is a great reading. Now, depending on your alternator, how much it puts out, it can be between the 14.38, 14.37, whatever, up to about 14.5. If it gets up to 14.7 or so, you might want to check your voltage regulator, because at that point it's overcharging. Okay, so we're looking at the 14.39. It's doing its job. Okay, we see our voltage here at idle. Now I'm going to reach over the engine here. I'm going to rev it up to about 1500 RPMs. That'll, of course, spin the alternator faster, which may put more voltage out. So I'm going to rev it up to about 1500 and see what we get. And our lead fell off. Alright, let's try it again. Okay, you can see you got to about 14.46, which is an excellent reading. Now what we're going to do, what do? We turn on the headlights, put them on high beam. We turn on my 50-inch LED bar. We turn on the heater blower motor. We're going to load this bad boy up, throw all the accessories I have at it, and which should put a load on the alternator, the battery and such, and then we're going to see what our voltage goes to with that. Turn on some stuff. Okay, it's up to 14.55 now. And I know it's kind of strange because you would think that turning on all the accessories would actually pull the voltage down. What may have happened is that the extra load, because the battery's in great shape. This battery right here is just a beast, okay? A beast. So what may have happened, turning on all the accessories, I got my LED bars, headlights are on high beam, the heater blower motor's on, and the radio's on. It may have triggered the alternator to start charging. So there's a little field wire that once it gets activated, it'll tell the alternator, hey, I need more voltage, I need more amperage, kick it up, kick it up. But now, what we're going to do is, I'm going to reach over to the engine, run it up to about 1500 RPM, watch that voltage and see what it does. That is an excelente alternator. And what we're going to do next is what's called voltage drop test. And that's going to be testing the voltage from the negative side of the battery over here to the ground on the alternator. You see back where we got, so you got to see what's up. Now we got the red lead on the negative side of the battery over here. Red lead here, black here on the battery. Red lead's on that. That's your negative side of your battery. The black lead, we're going to touch the ground on the alternator and see what we get. Now notice all these weird readings that I got going on with the meter right here. That's because this meter is what you call an auto ranging meter. Right now it's reading down to millivolts. So what you need to do is, with this set on the proper DC voltage, we're going to select range. And now it's just reading volt right here, just a simple V. You see it says 0.044. That is excellent. That is like really, really excellent. Because what you don't want to see is a reading that says 0.200 or anything 2 or above, you've got issues. Preferred 0.1 or lower, as I've got here a 0.044, that is excellent. You're not going to get much better, really. But even a 0.1 will make me happy. 0.15, yeah. 0.2, I would start checking my grounds. Let me show you guys one of the factory grounds on these Jeeps. You see the back end of the engine right here, back of the valve cover where your breather comes in, brake booster, blah, 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 blah. I'm going to zoom in on it slow. Right there. Where's my finger at? Where's it at? See this right here? That's a braided steel cable that goes to the back of the block and goes up to the firewall right here. And that is like a, I forget what size bolt it is. I'm thinking it's a 1/2 inch if I remember right. But you can see the ground strap right there. Sometimes those ends right here, they'll get dirty, corroded, so you have to take that off, scrub it real good, a little bit of sandpaper, whatever you need to scratch it clean. And down at the bottom, down where it goes down through here and goes down to the block, you have to take that off and clean it there as well. Now for your negative side, the ground on this coming off the battery here, mine drops down below underneath all that stuff, because I've rerouted this with new cables before. Anyway, it ends up coming out, connected to the block, right. There's your dipstick tube here, where your dipstick tube bolts on, right there is where my ground is. In most cases, if I see the lug right there, that's where the ground hooks to the block from the battery. And also on a lot of Jeeps, you'll see right here, which is just to the side of the battery, this bolt stud sticking out of the firewall right here. Right, which one is it? This right here goes down to the block. This right here is going over to the battery over here. So I've got another ground going to the block, which you can't have too many grounds. Grounds are a blessing in disguise. You can have one bad ground, it'll drive your vehicle nuts till you figure it out. So you make sure your grounds are solid always. So I got this right here going over to the block. Then I got this right here, goes from the battery to over there, but I'm running this marine style battery, and I'm actually running a marine style clamp over here. So now what we're going to do is a positive side of the battery here. We're going to put our leads on that to test our voltage drop on the positive side on the charge wire. And to do that, notice here, that's the black lead coming off the meter. The black lead goes on the positive side of the battery. The red lead, you touch the charging post on the back of the alternator. Now notice I'm getting a 0.15. If you guys remember what I said about the negative side test, you get a 0.1, that's okay. You get a 0.2, it's kind of flaky. Well, that's not the case on the charging side, the charging or positive battery side. On the charging side of the circuit, you don't want to get above a 0.6 volts. Now see, I'm reading a 0.15 on the charging side. That is excellent. That is really, really good. But if you get anywhere that's like a 0.5 or something like that, if you want to be nitpicky, take all your connections from your alternator down here where you screw on the big fat cable on the back of the alternator. I'll show you that here in a moment. Take it off, clean it real well, get you some sandpaper, clean it. Clean your cables going to your battery. You want the best connections possible for that alternator to be sending the charging your battery up. Now hopefully it'll stay, but I've got the red lead coming off of the meter. It's stuck to the nut on the alternator down here to where it charges. Now you've got the big fat red cable go to the back of the alternator. It's sitting right there, so what I'm going to try to do is reach over there and rev the engine up and see if this right here changes, if so by how much. That is an excellent reading, because best I could tell, because I was looking at it from this angle up here, it's kind of hard for me to see, but it looks like it only hit like 1.49 as high as it ever hit, which is again is absolutely excellent. On the positive side voltage drop test, you don't want to be 0.6 or above. I'll tell you what, let's shut this thing down and I'll show you what I'm doing. Now here we're looking at the back of the alternator. You see where I've got the red lead touching the charging post of the back of the alternator. This is where I was touching to get that reading for the voltage drop for the positive side or charging side of the alternator. Now if per chance, you was getting a bad reading, or if you was getting a 0.59 or 0.6 or above or whatever, what you want to do is pull this nut off right here, and I think it's an 11 millimeter if I remember right. Pull that off. You've got a ring terminal back in behind here. You take that ring terminal, get you some soft sandpaper or something, and clean it up real well. Clean up the post, clean up the nut you see right here, stick it back on, test it again. Because oftentimes your bad connection is going to be either here or your battery post here. But the way I've got this set up, now I'm getting both post here and clamp here. Now if you really want to be finicky with it, what you would do is you touch here, see what you got, then you would touch here. If you get any kind of voltage difference, that means that your clamp on your post isn't getting good connection. That could be because you've got corrosion between the clamp and the post. So if you touch here, you get one reading, then you touch the clamp, you get a different reading, pull your clamp off, get you a wire brush, one of those battery terminal cleaning devices, clean your post, clean your clamp, and you'll be good to go. I showed you guys how to test the alternator, showed you how to test voltage drop on the ground side and the positive side. I gave you guys a little bit of summary of what your ends of your cables that you'll need to keep clean and maintain. So I showed you guys how to test alternator. I showed you guys how to do a voltage drop test on both positive side and negative side. So you guys may have a little bit of education going on now. Also, I explained to you guys the cables that you need to clean, the wires you need to clean, where the ground straps are. So that is going to be the primary basis of all your charging system. Now let's talk about voltage regulators for a moment. Now I'm going to talk about voltage regulators in general. In general meaning not just telling you about the Jeep regulator, but also the way other vehicles work. The voltage regulator can be either Voltage regulator can be either inside the alternator, which is called an internal regulator, or it could be outside, therefore an external regulator, or it can be run by the ECU. And these are rigs like this right here, they're inside the ECU. Oftentimes if your alternator is overcharging or not kicking in, or whatever the case may be, there's always a possibility that it could be inside the computer itself that's not allowing the alternator to kick in. Now if you got an external regulator, it's going to be a little silver box off to the side. Ford and a lot of your older Chryslers run the external regulators. Internal regulators, most of the time your GMs, stuff like that, which I'm old school, V8 muscle cars and such like that, and that's pretty much what I've dealt with most of my life. I have worked on many imports, and most of your imports are regulators built on the inside, or therefore an internal regulator. So that will be specific to your vehicle. On these old Jeeps right here, like I said, it's built inside the computer, which the computer is located where the brake booster is. Come just below the brake booster, it's right underneath the brake booster. That's where the computer is. That's what the brain of the whole doggone Jeep is, where it tells the injectors what to do. It reads for all the sensors, even runs the alternator. So if your voltage regulator goes bad, it'll either charge too high or won't kick on at all, or not charge enough. That can vary. Now if you guys learned a little something from this video, be sure to hit that thumbs up down below. Subscribe if you haven't. Leave me some cool comments down below. And also remember to share these videos out. Share them out to your favorite social media, whether it be Facebook, Reddit. But whatever your favorite social media is, share these videos out to them, because what do? You're sharing these videos so you help other people. Cool. I make the videos, give them to you guys. You guys share them out. It helps everybody. Cool? Sweet. So remember, thumbs up, subscribe, cool comments. Peace out. Later, y'all.